Hello and welcome to Extra Time on LUTV, where we're going to pick through the bones of Leeds United's fantastic win on Friday night against Derby County, all in the company of former Leeds United defender Ben Parker. And all smiles all weekend, Ben, wasn't it? It was a fantastic result.
Fantastic. Not only the performance, just to sit top of the table and watch the results come in on Saturday as well. It was a great feeling, and everyone went home from the game with buzzing because we totally dominated Derby from the first whistle to the last.
Okay, well, I've lent you my TV for the day anyway, to just have a little look at some of the key moments. And that's what we're going to do here, Ben. We're going to analyse some of the reasons why Leeds United won this game. And a lot of it really started from the back, really. The return of Liam Cooper, and a lot of the moves, as we're going to see, were starting in this area, weren't they?
There was. And this is the big main thing, how we got on top of the front foot, how Derby couldn't get anywhere near us. Just want to highlight the, we're going to call it the triangle, basically. So we've got these guys in there. Got one there, one there, one there. And these three players were massive for us throughout the whole game because they set the tempo. Forshaw were different class of the night. A lot of people come away from the game saying best performance they've seen, probably in a Leeds shirt. And I'd have to agree, he was fantastic. But also this man here, Liam Cooper, he was massive coming back into the team because it gives that presence, gives that confidence, and we'll let it play on Thom. And it seems very simple, but it's a couple of little passes out onto the other side. Can we get down? Yeah, we try playing there, and this all just shows the three people just talk about there: Cooper, Janssen, and Forshaw. This is their heat map compared to the Derby's forward players. It's quite staggering to have a look at it like that.
Well, it is. I mean, Derby's attackers barely really touched the ball, but as we can see, sort of the concentration of possession really, and where those players were in that sort of middle area, keeping things ticking over. You know, Leeds were strong in the middle, but used that width really well. But it all comes from that position, really, sort of the anchor to the team.
You go away thinking Leeds were great going forward, really attacking flair, but this is the big reason why. This is not, it's not defending, but it's start the attack. They've got the big block there, and we've covered nearly all half of the pitch, them three players alone. So no wonder Derby couldn't get out because we're so dominant. We're winning second balls, winning second balls. We start the attack off from there.
Yeah, and spot Pontus Janssen on one of his normal second half sort of marauding runs there when he likes to get forward, as he did on a number of occasions, because of course Leeds had a lot of time on the ball. Let's look at Adam Forshaw and his influence in the game, because Jack Clark won a lot of the plaudits, rightly so, 2 assists. But Adam Forshaw in particular was key. We've got quite a few examples here of exactly what he did, and it was an all-round midfield performance, wasn't it?
This is what I loved about him. He's played a pass, not only admire it, he's gone and followed it as well. And if this goal had gone in, it'd been goal of the season by far. And very unlucky just to go wide. But again, his passing, his moving, it sounds very simple, but it's stuff like you learn as a kid growing up throughout academies. Can you pass and move, pass and move? If it were that simple, I think everyone would be doing, everybody would be a centre midfield player. But it's had a pop outside the box, drifted just narrowly wide. But that's the part I love there. Winning the second balls. Derby couldn't get a platform, a foothold in the game due to Forshaw's work. And it was no surprise he got a massive standing ovation. He was halfway through the second half, he chased 2-3 people down, forced them into a mistake, and it's such a massive part in modern day football to have somebody who can do that.
How infectious is it for the players around him as well when you have a player like him playing as well as he did on Friday?
It's fantastic because it rubs off on everybody. They're seeing someone like that literally putting everything into it, and you're thinking, I can jump on that, I'll follow his lead. And it was a real performance where, like you say, it's dragged everyone through it as well, because they're seeing a player giving his absolute all, but it's quality as well, it's quality on the ball. Just keeping the little simple passes, it's so effective. It's just drawing the Derby defenders and the midfielders in. It's just keeping them real honest, because they know they can't really go press because the range of his passing as well. It's just stretching the pitch, and it's so hard to defend against that.
And tempo was so important, wasn't it? I mean, it's all right passing the ball 15, 20 times, but it's the speed at which you do it which opens up the space, isn't it?
It is. The big difference I noticed on Friday night compared to the last few games is how quick we were moving the ball, and Forshaw were a heartbeat of that. He was a catalyst, because in the games gone past last few weeks I just touched on, he maybe took a second or two a little bit slower than he did on Friday, but 1 to 2 seconds, you think it's no time at all. But in terms of football, at this level, higher we go into the Premier League, it's massive. It makes a massive difference. Can move it just that split second quicker, because they can't get set. And we're talking about a Derby County side who one of the favourites to actually go up. They've got some real good young players, and players who've been called into the England squad not too long ago, and they couldn't get near us.
The Adam Forshaw showreel, then we'll send that on its way to Adam so he can look at that. But just absolutely key. The key thing from that as well, not only his touches, his passing. His stats tell one story, but we saw everything we needed to know in that footage. But give him time and the quality of his long-range passing as well. People have talked about Calvin Phillips this season performing really well in that quarterback role, if you like. Yeah. Well, Forshaw stepped in and did as good a job, no question about that.
What he did, he mixed his game up. He gave little 5-yard 10 passes and followed it. But then when the pass was on to try and switch the play out to Harrison, out to Clark, he had that ability to do that as well. And it's no surprise that was obviously the big stat there, 90% pass completion rate. That's very high. If you're averaging around the 85 mark, you've done well, but to get into the 90s, it's an exceptional performance.
Yeah, as a midfield player as well, particularly because he was seeing a lot of the ball. Let's talk about the start of the game, really, because it set a lot of the tempo, didn't it, for what we saw during the match. The return of Liam Cooper as well, but this is how we set the tempo. It had a lot of possession of the ball, and Derby didn't really know how to deal with it, did they? They
didn't know, and again, having Liam Cooper back, he gives you back four keeper a lot of confidence. You can trust him, and your fullbacks as well. Me playing at left back, I see my captain come and play alongside of me. It gives me so much confidence, and unfortunately that came to nothing. But this right here, Tom, this is key. This is important because it might look like pretty nothing at the moment, but let me just highlight these two here. Liam Cooper up against Marriott. As a centre half, you're thinking, right, I've done my job. I can easily stand on the halfway line, compress the play, no problem whatsoever. But good centre halves follow the strikers back in when they get deep, and that's how we did it for a full 90 minutes. And especially in the first, I was so on top, so dominant. Moments like this, and this is why it's important to have a Liam Cooper back in your side, because he's a natural centre half. He likes to get up against the strikers, wins that first header, and all it does just sets the tax again. We're fighting for the second ball. We're forced into a mistake again. Forshaw heavily involved, Click fighting as well, forcing Derby into a mistake. What happens? Start playing again.
Okay, here's the opening goal of the game then, and just talk us through this. Ben, because the set piece is decent enough, it's dealt with by Derby, but this is what makes it, and Jack Clark, of course, starting the game has been on fire, but this is a key moment you want to look at.
This is a perfect scenario. Get him isolated 1v1 in a wide area, and this was the first time he actually got isolated 1v1. He'd been like trying to get involved in the game, passes kind of not bouncing off him, but quite difficult to control.
How dangerous is it, because you played full-back from this position. I think it's, the midfielders come out to sort of deal with him, but you almost know where Clark wants to go. The Derby players will have done their research on Leeds as well. They'll know that Clark wants to go down the outside. But there's one thing knowing it, there's another thing dealing with it, isn't it? And Clark's not only got a turn of pace, but the balance, isn't it? It's the balance and the poise that causes problems. So in this position now, is Clark already beaten you as a defender?
No, you're gone. You're dead. Because, like you're saying, he glides past people. He can go both ways. It's so difficult. And to be honest, all managers tell you from a defensive point of view, in that position, show him down the line. But in this instinct, you don't want to show them like all the bodies are inside for Derby County. So this is where you kind of want to show back into the bodies, because someone like Clark, it's so intelligent. Someone his age, you don't come across many players his age with that intelligence, knowing if I beat you down the line, you're going to be banging trouble.
Now, the moment Clark did exactly what he did there and turned and looked to set off on his way, a little bit of movement in the box from our striker who's been in great form, Kamar Roof, Ben, because you could see almost in this picture his eyes light up. And just talk us through the body position here and how important this little bit of movement from Kamar Roof is.
Well, let's first highlight Kamar Roof for first part for the goal. There he is. He's like a sprinter. He's already out of the box. You look at Tamori, his body position is almost feet are planted, shoulders are square on, face up towards the cop. Where Kamar Roof is already looking to get across him, because he knows as soon as he gets across him into like this position there, Tom, all he needs is half a yard. Get half a yard in front of your defender, you're struggling. You're never going to get back, and all it is quality on the ball, on the cross, and it's very easy to stand that cross up to the back stick. As a young player, you just think, right, put it into an area, but it shows the work on the training ground, how hard they do it, how religious they're going to be doing it. Because like I was saying, Roof is a striker, he'll know, because they've done it so many times in training, attack that front post.
If you look at Clark here as well, never looks up, Ben. Doesn't need to. People say to look, he doesn't need to, because he knows exactly where he's putting this ball. Hard, low, near post. And by that point, Roof has beaten 3 defenders who were looking at the ball, and his marker is one in the box. Yeah,
you've got no chance as a defender. As soon as the striker's got half a yard, you know you're banging trouble. You're trying everything. Please don't put in that position. But Clark, being the quality player as he has done.
More sort of attacking play as well, winning the ball back here.
Yeah.
But again, it's the tempo here, isn't it, that the team are playing at. I mean, we are playing this at double speed, but just to give you an idea of just how comfortable Leeds were on the ball, but how hard they worked. And Kamaru here...
This here, yes, it's different class because, yeah, he's on the ball, Kamaru, he's tried to link up the play, but from a Derby County's point of view, as a back four, even for Andre Wisdom playing right back, you're thinking, well, I'm happy with that until this precise moment when it's not Roofe who's getting on the ball, it's Jack Harrison. And he's made this movement from out there to in there. Why? Because Roofe's dropped into a deeper position and we need someone to act as a false nine or up as a number 9. And why is he doing that? Because he's just going to keep the defenders occupied, the centre arse. And also Wisdom, because he's thinking, why do I have to follow him? But it's just a natural reaction.
He's looking this way, isn't he? You know, he's already kind of taken his eye off probably where the real danger is for him, which is out on the wing.
It is, and all it does, it's just a split second. All you need is for the full-back to kind of look in, follow your winger. As soon as you've done that, you're going to have 2 bodies outside you. And Alioski, who were fantastic, a real good link-up play with Harrison throughout the entire game. And we'll just try to notify that. Just
a word on Roofe before we see the rest of this move. How much has his game come on this season? Because we see him, he's scored quite a few goals, sort of poaching goals, you know, sort of Gary Lineker-esque, you know, penalty area goals. So his his poaching instinct is there. But this all-round player as well, this just goes to show under Marcelo Bielsa where players are expected to go. You know, they're not defined to necessarily sort of one position. If they have to come in, drop into the play, which then causes problems later on, he'll go and do it.
That's the biggest part of the game I've been impressed with him this year, where I think he's improved the most, is link-up play, because he's been a player probably the past couple of years where he's out of the wide positions, down the middle, and he's just wanting the ball to get to him and he's trying to like create something from that. But he's got the confidence now to drop into these deeper positions and not only he's played the ball, look where he's gone.
Well, he's hungry for goals, isn't he?
He's a hungry striker, he's a striker banging form, but again, we could play so many clips in the first half of this, but it just highlights, yeah, great little bit of play from Roofe, tried to make the box, didn't come to anything, won the second ball, put us a nice little flick around the corner. Again, we're pinging it out wide. This time the cross comes into the box, nearly came to Clark, misjudged it. Love this part though, Thom.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, just keeping the ball in there, Luke Ayling.
Yeah.
You know, winning a throw and it keeps the pressure on. Now this is the start of the second half and the second goal, and just to show, I suppose, how quick we go from kicking the game off again and putting the ball in the back of the net. But there's a few interesting sort of points to look at here.
Yeah, and I was surprised the goal came from this. I didn't realise myself how perfect the build-up was, to be fair. The ball came out to Alioski, and if you're going to stop it there, Thom, we're going to just want to highlight the Derby County players. So you've got, what, 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... including the keeper, you've got 8 players. You're Frank Lampard, you're on the touchline, Jody Morris, you think, brilliant, no danger, the boys are in good shape, got my back 4 there, my midfield 3 are back in, it's going to be hard for Leeds to break us down. But we'll roll it on. There's one part coming up just now. You've just seen him, Luke Ayling, he's made this goal, and I'll tell you why. That run there, why has he done that? To create space for this guy. Look how much space he's got now.
Yeah.
The one player you need in your team to have a bit of space, as we've seen in the first half with his assist, get him 1v1 or give him a bit of space, 10, 15, 20 yards in front of him. It's so dangerous, and he's full of, by this point, he's full of confidence, set the goal up. But real intelligent bit of movement for him. Usually you tell your full-backs to, when you're bombing forward, get round your winger, but obviously, again, this is something to work on probably in training, and he's made that run inside.
And the reason it creates that space, Ben, is because the full-back here is just, you know, his eyes are on Luke Ayling, he's not sure where he's going to go.
No.
And it's fine margin, we're talking 2 or 3 yards. The defender here might just be a little bit further out, he might be in a slightly better position to get to Jack Clark quicker. And these are the margins, and I suppose off-the-ball runs that you think you might not even notice if you're in the crowd, you're watching a ball. You know, I didn't notice it at the time, so when you look back on it, but it's all done for a reason. Nothing is done out of chance, is it? It's well thought through.
And for Derby County's left back, I've got sympathy for him because I think he's in a great position. If he had another 10 yards outside of Ayling closer to Clark, the gap between him and Tamori is massive. You probably can feed that ball through to Alien. So from a defence's point of view, he's done everything right. Unfortunately, you've got to play out Clark outside you, who's just very good at 1v1s.
Yes, and that of course made the Derby defence a little bit more narrow. And as we see here, Clark, once he gets it, did exactly what he did for the first goal. He's only going in one direction, isn't he?
Yeah, but not in that. Let's just stop it there, Tom. Again, it's very easy to see, but I just want to highlight him even more. There's one there, two there, third one there, all inside the 6-yard box. Games probably the last few weeks again where we have created chances. We've looked kind of threatening going forward, but we haven't converted them due to probably the fact we haven't got bodies into the box. But to have 3 players inside the 6-yard box within the first couple of minutes of the second half shows the desire, the eagerness, and just what the total domination we had on Friday night, the effort to get on there. We're talking Alioski, he's not playing as a left winger, let's not forget that, he's a left back, and he's probably the furthest man forward inside the 6-yard box. Great bit of composure, whether he's trying to go for a goal, I'm not too sure, scuffed it a little bit, but Harrison, right place, right time.
And also what the difference is, your eagerness to get into the box is increased when you know you've got a player who's going to deliver the ball into the box. You know, you played in a team with Robert Snodgrass who was brilliant at it as well. You know, players are more likely to take that gamble or really sort of, you know, bust a gut to get into the penalty area because they know quality balls are going to be delivered as they were.
Of course they are, because like you say, it might not come in every time, but 2-3 times it does, you're going to be in the right place, right time. And like I say, Harrison, delighted for him to get his goal there. He fully deserved it because he was another one who were impressive on Friday night. Yeah,
fantastic, wasn't it? Leeds United's victory against Derby County. All smiles. It'll be all smiles on the training ground, won't it, ahead of the trip to Stoke now, top of the table. So thanks very much, Ben, for looking back at some of the key moments. We'll be back to look ahead to that trip to Stoke on Saturday.